E-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world at Breakfast with Bob.
Thanks, Poncho Man. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Hoka One One, by Master Spas, Clash Endurance, UCAN, Hyper Ice, Premium Plus Sports, Form Smart Swim Goggles, and our Challenge Athletes Foundation. We just sent out 3,256 grants totaling $6.2 million, keep athletes in the game of life through sport. Our next guest, one of my favorite people on the planet. She has won 9 Ironman World Championship titles, 4 Ironman World Championships, 5 70.3 World Championships. The great Daniela Ryf joins us. Daniela, how are you doing?
Hi, Bob. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm great. I'm currently training in Sedona, preparing for the Worlds. So a lot to do, but loving the process. Yeah.
And you're loving Sedona's a lot like St. George, right? So it feels a little bit like you're totally acclimatizing to where you're going to be racing.
Yeah, that's the reason why I came here. It's quiet, but it's quite close to St. George. I don't like to be on a race course for too long. You know, I've been here now already 3 weeks, so it's pretty much 5 weeks before the race. And in Sedona, I have the opportunities to go up to the altitude, up to Flagstaff, but still can also go to the desert and where it's really warm. And yeah, I mean, the scenery here is nice, helps for the mood as well. But of course, yeah, just being able to get these long rides in and the climate. And it's super dry, which I believe is going to be very hard. I mean, it took me almost 3 weeks to get used to it, to be honest. Like the breathing is heavy, even though you would think in dry air it's easy to breathe, but I find it quite challenging. And so, yeah, it was important for me that I can get used to it.
Sometimes you notice it in the water too, right? When just getting your breath.
Actually, yeah, you do get almost a sore throat breathing even when you're swimming. So it's really super dry. I think it's the least we had was 6% of humidity, which is pretty much none. And yeah, I mean, it just takes time. The body can get used to it, but the skin is dry and you always have to make sure you drink enough, and you actually don't feel thirsty. So I've had long rides where I didn't even drink because I forgot it, and then realized, oh, I need to drink. So you don't really realize that you're sweating. So yeah, it's very different to Kona, but it's always good to, you know, adapt to the challenges and make the best out of what you need to get used to.
So during COVID, one of the things I heard from a lot of athletes, because your identity is as an athlete, you are an Ironman World Champion, an Ironman 70.3 World Champion. When no races are going on, was it hard to stay sort of committed to training because you really didn't know when racing would come back or if it would come back?
Yeah, I mean, I don't identify myself only as an athlete. I think it's good to also have other things in life, but definitely it was hard for the motivation. I mean, I train for a goal, and this goal normally is a few months ahead. And when Kona was canceled, always that re-motivating yourself for a new goal, and also having to deal with, you know, a disappointment because it's not going to happen was definitely very hard. And I found, I mean, I just recently calculated how long it was since we were at the last Ironman World Championship, and it's 2 years and 7 months at the day we're racing, and that's a very long time for an Ironman athlete. And I feel like, yeah, I'm really excited now that we have a chance again to, you know, to race at the long distance, and definitely these big goals really motivate me. It's when it's important and when there's a big race coming up that I can really get the best out of myself. And so, yeah, definitely it's very motivating to be preparing yourself again for such a big race.
So I was just doing a little calculation the other day, and between 2014 and 2021, you have like 39 wins and 6 times that you didn't win. And it was like 1 second, 1/4, 2/3, a 13th, and 11th. I mean, 39 wins and 6 not wins. And what, 1, 2, 3, like 4 of those were like still top 4. That's an amazing, when you look at the stats, that's just unbelievable. The odds of you not winning a race were infinitesimal. You won pretty much everything you did. Was that hard to live up to when you come into 2019 and people are sort of just assuming, well, Daniela Ryf's going to win, so we're going to think about who's going to be second, third, and fourth? Is that hard as an athlete to feel that pressure of, if I don't win, everybody's going to be disappointed?
Yeah, it was hard for a while. I mean, it definitely, if you have the feeling that you can only disappoint, or it's not a good feeling, or that would be a very negative thought. I think for me, it was more after 2018 that I thought, how can I possibly get better? And after such a great race in 2018, I didn't really know if I can get better. And that was, actually to show a better race was always my goal, to keep improving. And I think for me, it was also good to have a bit of a downside, to have like some problems which were not nice, but that helped me again to see, hey, it's not just always about getting better, but also it's a journey, and the process of getting fit from just having a phase where you might not be so fit. And I found this process was actually helping me a lot to enjoy the process again, to get better or get fitter, back to. So my goal is to get where I used to be in 2018, that fitness I had. And so that's what I'm working on now. But I think the biggest pressure is most as the athlete, we put so much in there. And of course you want to make it good for your team and for everyone who helps you on the way. But still, the biggest pressure I would always put on myself. And I think I had to learn how to deal with this. And I've always been fine with pressure, but to be still enjoying it while you're always under pressure, that was the bigger challenge. And at the moment, I did find a way to also enjoy my process and not having, that I don't feel like I need to win every race, because even the last 2 I didn't win, but it really motivated me again to see, hey, I can actually do better than this. And I think it's always to find motivations out of little races where they might not go how you expect, and then you just take the learnings from it. And that definitely helped me.
I bet you were able to look at what Chrissy Wellington did after 2011, when she won in, she had this great race. She had broken ribs and overcame, just like you overcame, getting stung by a jellyfish, and she won. And then it was like, well, what else can I accomplish? I've done it all. I've won 4 times here, and I just had what I consider the greatest race of my life, which you had a look at 2018 at that. She walked away and she was like, I'm done. I'm betting that you probably could relate to that, because that was almost your moment in 2018.
Yeah, I think at the point where you start to be afraid that you might not win, you will lose every joy. And I think I had to like to get a distance from that thought, that I don't expect me to win every race. And to be honest, I think 2019, I got sick before the race, and that was just all a bit too much. I think probably also nerves a little bit, but to have some setbacks, for me, it was almost a little bit of a relief. And from there, I could kind of start again. And the last years were, from other perspectives, a little bit challenging with not having no races, but still, it gave me actually also a bit more time to find my new path, how I want to keep going and how I want to enjoy the process of getting fit and racing.
So it's funny, because when you were sick in 2019, you were undefeated going into that race. And actually you were undefeated in 2018 as well. So you had fought 5, 8, 11, you'd won 11 races, something like that in a row. And then you finished the season with that. So it means you have to live with it. And then the world shuts down. So you had to live with it for a couple of years rather than having the ability to go race somewhere else. I'm guessing that's when you start questioning yourself. You made the decision to, you were coached pretty much full-time by Brett Sutton. You moved more to coaching yourself and maybe using Brett more as a consultant. How are you handling your training now?
Yeah, I mean, I still do whatever I used to do. I believe what Brett, the philosophy of Brett always fitted me very well. And I did think if I want to reach out to someone else as like a completely different training philosophy, but I decided I want to stick to what worked for me. And I'm very convinced that this is the right path. To have a bit more responsibility and also being able to plan a little bit my own. I think I learn a lot. I need to listen a bit more to my body in terms of should I take a rest or should I keep pushing? And that's also something I did realize I can do that quite okay if I really listen to myself. But that means I decided to also train more on my own. For me, I'm always someone who compares a lot, and the comparison makes me very tired. So I found for myself that I enjoy training more if I have a little bit my safety training spot where I'm not actually, no one watches me and I can just do my work. And then actually I go out and race. And for me, that's I'm really enjoying it, how I do it this way. And it's at the moment, I think I would say the last year was about more the overcoming my health issues. And that was a bit of a problem. I did, after St. George last year, I did, I'm not really sure if I had COVID or if it was from something else, but I did have really big problems with the immune system and breathing and lung and heart. And so that was really through the whole year, I did not manage to actually do the training I need to do. And it was a bit frustrating because I was motivated and there were, races again on the horizon, and I couldn't really do the training which was needed. I was always very tired and just wanted to sleep. And so I managed to deal with this and overcome that. And so that's definitely for me a big step. I feel healthy again and able to put in the training. And now it's been a good build up the last 6 months. And I'm looking forward that we now have finally the big stage again and the opportunity to race in a world championship in a long distance. It's actually funny because my godson, I think it was last winter, he introduced me to a friend of him and he said, this is my I don't know, how do you call it? I'm his he's my godson, so I'm his...
Yes. You're his
godmother.
God.
And then so he would say, this is my godmother. She used to be good in triathlon. And I was like, well, okay, I noted that point because it's true. I mean, we haven't had a world championship since almost 3 years. So, I mean, and that one I missed, so it's been 4 years since I had a really good race. So it was just funny how, little kids, they interpret the situations a little bit different, but it was funny. I had to laugh.
I love that. She used to be good at that.
Yeah, I mean, their kids are so honest. It's always good to...
Kids are the best. One of my favorite athletes there was a track athlete by the name of Billy Mills who won a gold medal in the Olympics in Tokyo, like back in 1960 or 64 or something like that. Anyways, he was at his daughter asked him to come to school to show his gold medal, So he's like, my daughter knows what I do. This is so cool that she knows what I do. And he's sitting on the little kid's chair in kindergarten waiting. And his daughter gets up and goes, I brought my daddy to school because he has a gold medal like my favorite ice skater, Peggy Fleming. She didn't care at all that daddy had won one. It's like he had one like her.
Yeah.
Kids are the best. They say the best stuff. Does it change your preparation at all, knowing that Lucy Charles Barkley's not in the race? Or does that stuff do you even think about that?
No, that would not change anything. I mean, it's definitely very sad that she's not racing. I believe it would have been a very good course for her. Yeah, I mean, the sport is so cruel. It's about, you know, we have every year an opportunity, but I mean, not every year. So for her, it's really hard to miss out that. And I missed out, yeah, because I was sick. So to actually make it to the start line healthy and not injured, that's such a huge part of the, you know, preparation. I mean, part of the race, and to be able to get it all together it is hard. And so it's just, again, a reminder that to be grateful that the body is holding up together well, and also be careful, but still we all push such a hard line, and we all, of course, also want to go as far as we can, because it's such a competitive sport. And so at the moment, I mean, I try to get my body as fit as possible. You need to be so strong on that course, but also very well, you can't be too heavy because it's such a hard run and up and down, but still you need to be very powerful. And I find it's a hard combination, and I definitely try to optimize everything. And also taking every weight you don't need on the bike. So it's really about tuning everything, and then hopefully, get the best performance out of my body on the race day.
What do you look back on as your best race? Is the race that you're proudest of? Is it that Ironman in 2018?
I mean, I had a few races which I have like memories from it, which I'm proud of. But I would say 2018 in Kona was definitely, for me, the most crazy and most impressive race, where I also could surprise myself the most. Also emotionally, because I went from thinking about going to the hotel room after the swim and cry all day to going to the record on the course and being world champion. So it's such a big spectrum within just a few hours. And for me, that was emotionally, I think it was the biggest race I ever had. It was such a overwhelming feeling to overcome this challenge through the race and change the whole situation by just, I don't know, I don't still, sometimes you don't know how you did it. You just kind of keep grinding, and suddenly a new opportunity opens up. And that's pretty much what happened that day.
And when you were in 2019, when you're sick, you're sick, and you're having that day where you're 13th, and being out on a court where you're the defending champion, you're the 4-time defending champion. Was it hard to stay in the race? Because it's a lot of people might have pulled the plug and said, you know what, there's other races, I'm not well. But having respect for the race and sort of getting through it, even though you're not having your day, I bet you gain something just from getting across the finish line.
Yeah, definitely. I was not disappointed when I crossed the finish line. I knew I gave everything, and that's what gave me the win in 2018, to not give up, even though the situation looked very bad after the swim. And I still actually believed in 2019, even I felt terrible. And I started to run, and I was, I think, 13 minutes or something behind Lucy. And I was like, that's not too much. I mean, who knows? I mean, what happens? And so I still tried to push for like 2 meters, and then I realized, no, my body doesn't want to push. So I hold it up maybe for 10 meters, but it was pretty clear the body had nothing. But I think that's why I was not disappointed. I tried on the bike a few times, and I always kept going. And I just wanted to respect the race, but also the competitors, because it's always easier to just give up and then disappear. And finishing in a race where you don't feel comfortable and you don't feel proud, but you're actually just showing there, is still better than just kind of hiding. And for me, after the race, I never felt like I had to be ashamed, because I just did whatever I could. And I think this mentality helped me for the next races. I always try not to think about, should I give up or not, but just, I mean, when I'm at the start line, I my goal is to get to the finish line the fastest I can. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not always about the winning. I think it's in that situation, it's about getting or overcoming what gets thrown at you and make the best out of it. And that's what I did that day. And that's why I never had any regrets. I just knew it was all I had on that day.
I remember Mark Allen telling me years ago when he was in Nice and he woke up in the morning sick and he didn't feel like he should go to the start line, even though he won the race, I think 8 times at that point. And he said, you know what? I'm going to go out there and my body's at 70% or 60%. I'm going to get 100% out of whatever I have and be happy with the effort. And he ended up winning, similar to you in 2018. I mean, you never know. You never know what can happen. It doesn't always work
like this. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't always trick the body. And it's also, of course, it's important to not do something where you don't feel. I mean, sometimes it's impressive how you can overcome, fears and just mental problems, or at the moment, like you feel like you're sick, but you might just be nervous, and then it just gets better with the time. But then, of course, there's days where, if you're really sick, then you're sick, and then eventually, an Ironman is too long to hide that your body is not doing well. So. What you can do is always to try, and if you try hard, then that's all you can ask.
Being happy and content and motivated and inspired. It's great to see. It sounds like being in Sedona has been a great place for you.
I like it here a lot. It's I was here last year, had some good training, and I think I'm in a good spirit, and I'm looking forward that we finally getting some serious world championship going. So I'm quite happy, but also I'm a bit scared that the race is going to be so hard. And it's a bit of a joy to look for. I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm also thinking, oh my God, how am I going to walk the next day? Because I think this race is going to destroy everyone badly. I'm already praying for my legs.
Especially because then it's not like the season's over. The season's just getting going.
I don't think you should. I mean, when you're in the race, it's the race, and I try not to think about wherever we are in the season. It's the World Championship, so I'm definitely going to give everything I have. I definitely want to make also, of course, my fans and my country proud, and of course also the preparation I put in and all the people who helped me with it. You want to embrace it, and I will race for that race, and then whatever happens after, we'll see.
Daniela, thank you so much, as always, for taking so much time. It's always such a treat to get to chat with you, and your smile just lights up the room. You know that.
Same to you. You and your nice background with the Kona makes me also.
Well, we will be there. You know what's going to be great is you guys race on Thursday in Kona, right? The girls do. So then you guys can come to my Thank God I'm Not Racing party on Friday.
Sweet. Right? That's perfect. Yeah, book me in there. I'm there.
I know. We put medals and give out hats to everybody for not racing. So you'll be able to do that. That'll be so much fun.
We're lucky. That's really cool.
Daniela Ryf has been our guest. I don't think anybody has 9 Ironman world titles, right? Paula has 8.
You know the statistics. I don't.
You got that.
I'm always impressed how you do the calculation. So
I love it.
What you didn't tell me is how big my chances are with having 39 wins and 39 wins and
39 wins and 6 is in 4. Well, let's see, a second, a fourth, 2 thirds. So 4 times you've been top 4 when you didn't win out of those. So really, the 11th and 13th are the only.
So what's the odds for St. George for me? So that's just all I need to know. So
the odds are that you're gonna get your 5th Ironman World Championship title. So now you'll have 5 of each.
But I was I mean the calculation of how many percentage of a chance I have.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Okay.
I don't do that. I just go, you've got 39. I mean,
no, it's fine. I'll take care of it. I'll try
39 and 6, right? 39 wins out of 45 races. That's unbelievable. That's Crazy.
Yeah, I never counted that. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. That's cool.
Daniela Ryf has been our guest, and Daniela, we'll see you in St. George in a few weeks. Thank you so much, as always, for being so generous with your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Again, Bob Babbitt here. This is Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. We'll catch everybody in St. George. Until then, see ya.
Bye.